But Mitchell, as we've had to do a couple times recently, I think there is a topic at the top of everybody's mind right now. And it was Friday night. It's also tomorrow night, but it's the Canadian men's national team in the semifinals of Copa America 2024. Mitch, I don't even know where to start with this with you. What was going through your head when you saw this game against Venezuela go to a penalty shootout on Friday, and then when it actually turned out okay? What was going through your mind through that entire experience?
I mean, this team just continues to surprise me in positive ways. Like, um, again, they go out there, they play a fantastic match against Venezuela, and then obviously, it gets tied up on on an incredible goal, and you think, okay, maybe this is the moment that sinks them, and then it goes to penalties, and you're like, there's no way, Canada's able to pull this out on penalties. We've seen them struggle in that capacity before in the past little bit. Obviously, the last penalty comes down to Alfonso Davies, and to send it to knockout penalties, I guess, or
Sudden
whatever.
death.
Yeah, sudden death penalties, and you just the World Cup flashbacks, everything flashes, and then when he puts that top corner, I think that was the moment for me where I was like, okay, maybe maybe
Yeah.
history is changing here a little bit. Like, I think that gave them all the confidence to go on and win that penalty shootout. And obviously, like you said, I backed Max Crepeau, but when he starts to save a few and they can't take advantage, what, two of those in the first five, you're like, oh, this is
I
not good.
know.
Yeah, this is starting to give me flashbacks. But at the end of the day, again, just at every turn, this Canadian team continues to find ways to win matches. And after, I think, their best performance under Jesse Marsch, most complete performance against Venezuela, they've got to be buzzing heading into
Yeah.
this semifinal.
Yeah, we did say that last week, didn't we, about a penalty shootout? We said we'd back Max Crepeau. This is why you guys come to this show, for these intelligent predictions that you won't find anywhere else. We're so smart, Mitch. Good job, us. But yeah, you're right. I'll be honest. When Venezuela scored, I thought Canada were sunk. I thought they were in big trouble. Just the way that it happened. I mean, up to that point, I know that Canada had been a little frustrated at times, especially with some of the decisions. But I thought they'd done a pretty good job, actually, of not being that phased by them. Certainly a better job than they'd done in some other games this tournament. Kind of starting to learn the comma ball of it all. But that moment where the goalkeeper is slapping the ball out of Laren's hands, and then everybody's kind of chaotic. Nobody really knows what's going on, and then within seconds, it's throw in, cleared, and Rondon dinks it over Crepeau from basically the halfway line. I thought that was going to be deflating enough that it would be over it. And frankly, as much as I don't think I'm a fan of proceeding straight to penalties, I think it might have worked out for Canada in that sense. We never know, but it did feel like they were feeling a little bit of pressure in a late game, but they stood tall. I think lots of players deserve shout outs for how confidently they buried their penalties. Jonathan David going up first, that was always a lot of pressure. Ismail Kone deserves a lot of credit for the way that he kind of turns into a hero here after a tough first couple of games of the tournament, gets benched, comes off the bench in this one, and he is the hero, as is Max Crepeau, who, again, out of position for the Venezuela goal. Not entirely necessarily one we want to pin on him, but definitely it is a mistake that he'll feel. Then he comes up huge in the shootout again. Mitch, how much have you seen this team, even over the course of this tournament, kind of grow in its maturity and its understanding of these tournament games and its knockout football?
Yeah, a crazy amount. You felt like maybe they were a little bit lucky against Peru. I mean, certainly with the way the first half of that match went, and pretty much up until the red card, even after the red card, that was really a learning lesson that they almost got away with. Because Peru had every opportunity to win that game and to take advantage. And again, if there's no red card in that game, maybe they don't get out of it with the win that obviously is the reason they're still going at this competition. But against Chile, I thought they managed it significantly better. They showed those learnings for the first game. Obviously, they don't get a goal in that game. they don't look quite as goal dangerous, but they didn't need to. They get the draw.
Mhm.
And then this one, it's even a step further, right? They're on the front foot for most of this game. They took advantage of the moments where Venezuela opened up and cut them open on so many different occasions. I mean, Jacob Schaffelberg, a player who, again, we wondered whether he was able to start at this level, and
Yeah.
absolutely an unbelievable performance from him.
Mhm.
And we've talked a lot about the link up between Miller and Davies and how important that's been, but we're starting to see in real ways the chemistry between Schaffelberg and Davies. An underrated part of Davies' game is ability to play those balls in behind him. When you have someone like Schaffelberg running onto them, like that's going to be a lethal weapon for Canada going forward. So yeah, I think we've seen in so many different ways, tactically, mentality wise, yeah, just the way they've handled these matches. Like the progression's been unbelievable from game
Absolutely.
one to where they were in that quarterfinal.
Absolutely. And now here we are in in a semi-final. Canada going farther in Copa America than Brazil, as we all predicted. I mean, look, there are two major tournaments going on in international football right now. There are 8 teams left in them, and in terms of the FIFA World Rankings
Wait,
of where
there's only 4 teams left in the Canadian Championship.
you're right, you're right. Sorry, we will get to that. By the way, another major tournament. But, like FIFA World Rankings of the 8 teams left in the Euros and the Copa America, Argentina 1, obviously, France 2, England 5, the Netherlands 7, Spain 8, and then we've got Colombia 12, Uruguay 14, and Canada 48.
That might change, eh?
I think so. I'm not good enough at math to do that algorithm on the spot because I've tried to do it on like by hand before. It's incredibly hard. But yeah, like that is just insane, and this is one of the biggest stories in international football right now. I think obviously we have our own view of it from being in Canada and following this team, but just like the way that like it is kind of like when one of those teams like a Morocco gets to the semifinals of the last World Cup or something like that. It is kind of one of those dream runs where you're just so impressed and you want to see more of this team. You don't want it to leave the tournament. However, they are playing Argentina on Tuesday. We've already seen Canada play Argentina, played them very well, but this might be a different moment. Obviously, it's a semi-final of the Copa America, not the first game of the group stage. The stakes are higher. Argentina's under more pressure than they would have been in the first game. Thoughts? What are we expecting here?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it at the World Cup. Argentina of the first game of a tournament is significantly different than Argentina of a semifinal, and the experience difference is, shocking between these two teams. Obviously, this is Canada's first Copa America, let alone Canada's first, knockout, experience of this magnitude. I think Argentina's been to 6 of the last 7 semifinal rounds in the Copa America, and they've won 5 of those semifinals. So they know what they're doing here. This is kind of old hat for them, and for Canada, this is completely new. They're coming in, but I think that almost is how you have to treat it if you're Canada. I mean, there was the Jesse Marsh quote that's made good rounds now about we might play our best game ever and it might not be enough, but we're still just going to go for it. And I think that's the
100%.
way Canada like needs to go into this game. I think they're playing with house money in the quarterfinals, so
Oh yeah,
who knows what the heck they're playing with now. Like this is beyond kind of the wildest dreams of Canadian soccer fans. So it's not that you just throw caution to the wind, but you might as well just be brave, go out there, have fun, and honestly just like try and take it to this Argentina side that again will be so heavily favored that you might as well just go in there with every confidence and try and win a match and get to a final that would be again just such an unbelievably beyond a dream moment for Canadian soccer right now. So yeah, I'm again, you can tell I'm genuinely just so excited for this match. This tournament's been beyond expectations from this Canadian team, and they're just so far ahead of where I expected them to be at this point. Yeah, in their development under Jesse Marsh. I mean, again, it's been just over a month, and already they're in a major tournament semifinal.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, again, I think I said it before the Friday game, but even more so on Tuesday, guys, like enjoy this.
Yeah.
Canada are playing Argentina, the best team in the world, in the semifinal of the Copa America, like the oldest international football tournament in the world. And no matter what happens, they play another game too.
Yeah,
they get to play Colombia or Uruguay in a third place game. And I know there's not a lot of prestige in a third place game, but it's still a game against a very, very good team that, they get to play, and they don't have to schedule a friendly for it. Like it's one that they automatically get. And every single one of those games is valuable. Every single time this team gets to play against a good team, it helps towards 2026. So, so many successes at this tournament, just incredible stuff, and cannot wait for Tuesday night. We'll be back at some point to either, if they win, I don't know, maybe we'll be live immediately and popping champagne.
Yeah,
But
it'll just be 20 minutes of yells.
yeah, that might be that might be the after dark version where we yell swear words a whole bunch. But anyway,
I don't know any
Canada. You wouldn't. Canada, Argentina, Tuesday night in New Jersey, but near New York City, home of the New York Football Giants and Jets. Hopefully, Canada's fortunes are better than both of those teams.
No kidding.
Boy, do they suck. Anyway, that is incredibly exciting.